Hello, hello, everybody. What's up, Kaya, Alora, and Ray? Hello, everyone. Who else we got here? Lagloon, hello, hello. One moment, everybody. I'm just finishing setting up a few more small things here. Give me a moment. Mimi Mars, Okie dokie Hatsuoki, and Griffin, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Zevin, never too dark to play. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hi, hello. How's everyone doing? You guys have a good weekend? What did you guys do? What were you all up to this weekend? Someone fire out some stuff you guys were up to this weekend. I'm curious. Role-playing in-game? Nice! What, whereabouts do you go, Griffin? And Sleepy? You worked. Ah, you know, we gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Right? Decorated IRL. Ooh, decorating an IRL house? That's fun. Did you, like interior design? Or like when you say decorating, what do you mean by decorating an IRL house? Oh, what am I doing? Oops, there we go. Okay. And doing fate trains to rank up your shared fates. Oh, I see. That's very useful, especially if you're into housing. Lagloon, are you ranking up the shared fates to go for the mount/achievement and stuff, or are you doing it for housing items? Maybe both? Hey, Amelia, what's up? Are you guys, Amelia, you're still down in SD, right? At TwitchCon? Is that right? Oh, let me... warp on over here. Let's see, what else is everyone doing? Let's see, making tacos. Ooh, that sounds delicious, Alora. What kind of tacos are you making? So different events are, Griffin's saying different events or playing with friends. There was a fun costumed rave party this past weekend. That's hella fun, nice. So Griffin, when you're like in the game, you know, outside of, or actually maybe even at clubbing, but I mean, I guess when you're kind of just going around the game, are you pretty much always in roleplay mode though? Are you like one of the people who plays the game basically as your character and in full roleplay mode almost all the time? Or is it sort of, you go out for a night and you go to a specific event and you activate roleplay mode and then, you know, you're doing your thing, but then after you leave the event, it's like back to just like you playing a game kind of thing? See, okie dokie, San. I've been moving furniture around to refresh the living room and dining room. Plus fall decorations. Nice, nice. Oh, but no shelves, huh? It happens, yeah. Man, I mean, just like in game, I mean, honestly, actually, arguably, much harder in real life is real life decorating, and actually having to spend real money and actually source like real materials that could actually be exotic and stuff, you know? That's always a bit of a challenge. So let's see here. Everyone just left? You're alone with onions, says Amelia. Oh, okay. Yeah, I imagine everybody was kind of there for the weekend, but a lot of people have to go back to work and whatnots, right? So, yeah. But that's cool though. I'm sad. Yes, but FanFest Las Vegas. Hell yeah. I will need to see how that can work out, but honestly, I'm much more confident in my ability to potentially go to FanFest Las Vegas than to go to TwitchCon than I was when you guys asked me to go up TwitchCon. Because man, that would be so cool. I mean, the thing about FanFest too is that I would also want to go for FanFest itself. Like TwitchCon, personally, I'm not sure how much I would get a kick out of the TwitchCon part of it. I would have gone mostly to see all of you DJs and like hang out and kind of meet everybody. But like personally, I'm not sure how much I would necessarily get out of the actual con itself. That's not to say that I couldn't find stuff to do. I just haven't looked into TwitchCon that much. But I know for a fact, having seen some of the bits of FanFest, that there's a lot of activities and things that I would love to attend at a FanFest. In addition to, of course, being able to party with everyone in Vegas and just like hang out and stuff, you know? So, yeah. And let's see, back and forth. This is just chatting thing right now. Who cares? We're not in a rush. So let's see, back and forth, says Griffin. But I do keep in mind how my character will respond when given different options to answer in the quests. Oh yeah, and I heard, and I felt this too, but I think that they've been getting better about giving us options in the quest lines and stuff, where it's like stuff you would actually maybe say. Because I know there were some moments in like earlier expansions or even, Realm Reborn, where there was sometimes like some quest like dialogue options where it was just like, to be honest, none of these, right? Like what how does your character respond? It's like, fuck no, not any of these. Like what, which I imagine, especially for the people who are role playing and stuff, must be really frustrating if you are like very much in your character's mindset and you just like look at the options and you're like, what the like, I would never say any of this stuff, See, look, like Lynn's saying, I'm aiming to get the fallen angel wings from doing the shared fate. Oh, yes. Oh, that's true. I forgot about those. The fallen angel wings, those are super cool. Yeah, honestly, there's a ton of really cool stuff locked behind shared fates. But you do have to just kind of sit down and grind it out, And there you go. Yeah, we will definitely talk, Amelia. Now that your TwitchCon's done, right? We got some late night hangouting and just chilling to do. So, but yeah, looking great, by the way. Oh yeah, did you see the little bits that I'm working on here? Yeah, so I was taking a break from working on Hell, and I started to kind of take a look at Heaven. So you can kind of see where I think, for those of you who were on the stream last time, then you may have remembered that I talked about how for Heaven, the current look of Heaven looks a little bit more, well, here, it's still here, right? Here's the hallway. And then kind of, this is the current Heaven look, right? This dance floor. And I like the overall vibe and the aesthetic, the green and the bright white and all that stuff. So I'm still going to keep that in motion. But I think the thing that sort of stuck out to me that I wanted to capture more of is the idea that Heaven is in the clouds, right? and it's sort of like it's supposed to feel very vast and like open and all that. And so I think with the fact that right now, to me, it feels a little bit boxed in, like you are partying, in fact, in a box, even though there are windows, but like I kind of wanted to open it up a bit more and kind of give at least a peek at the sort of outside world, right? Like sort of giving the implication that there is this vastness around you and that you are merely partying in a small, hallway or building of it. And so I spent a lot of time last night just experimenting with different like layouts and trying to, it doesn't look like I changed that much, but I tried probably like 50 different things last night. This is just like where it ended up, but I was like moving stuff around over near the stairs, and I was trying to move stuff in the other room. I moved stuff around in this room a bunch of times, but you can kind of see where I was experimenting with that, right? Where we're getting the open windows, where it kind of looks like we're on sort of like a skytop terrace that would be looking out, right? Out at the clouds and everything. So that's kind of where this is at. And okay, Amelia, actually, this is great. I'm glad that you're here, because I have a question for you all. So I know you're we're very attached to like this hallway and everything, but so a big part of what I've been struggling with is trying to figure out how to capture this vastness, but also shrink down the space that we're using for heaven, because right now we're using the whole entire upper floor basically, and there's too much space to have to cover with items to really create the effect that we want, I think. So hear me out. I'm thinking of doing a layout where we might have to do away with a bit of the light tunnel thing here. I'm going to try to still get the essence of what that is, and maybe even like a segment of it still there, right? But I kind of want us to pop up here. So just to give you perspective, right? You'd walk in, the front door is like down here somewhere, right? You can see this is the old steps. So I want us to stairway to heaven, elevate up to here, portal-wise, then walk down. Here, I'm going to go in housing mode so I can ghost. Turn left, go through here, and then similar to Prominence, which I think, you guys know Prominence, but I kind of want to try putting the dance floor floating here. And it won't be the same thing as Prominence, but it will have the same sort of progression a little bit, where I want to use the fact that this room is so big, like is so tall, to maybe play a bit more of the scale that heaven should be. Because that's what I was trying to figure out what it was about this. I know you guys are saying stuff in chat, by the way, but just let me finish my train of thought here. But like, because the thing that kept tripping me up was right now I kept trying to figure out how to fit this heavenscape in just the side rooms, and I think the thing that kept not landing to me was like, why is heaven so small, right? Because like if you use any one of the side room spaces, it is kind of like a bit of a narrow hallway, which isn't wrong per se, but it kept kind of feeling like a little bit small to me, and to me I was trying to figure out, like, I feel like I really want to capture the epicness of heaven that's supposed to feel really grand, and I kind of came to the conclusion, well, perhaps instead of just trying to force it to fit in a side room, like picking one of the side rooms and forcing it in there, perhaps reworking it so it's actually floated in here, and there's sort of like this dance floor here, and then I'll give us a way to get down back to hell and everything, but kind of centering more of the focus in this big chamber, so that we can actually maybe get a bit more of that epic scale, I guess, of heaven. But I know that might come at the cost of taking a bit of that layout that I know you guys talked about, like, oh, you kind of like how the heaven dance floor is, or how the light pathway was. But I took screenshots of a lot of this stuff, so I mean, I could always put it back if we really don't like what I end up with. But if you guys are open to me potentially doing that, I'd like to try to give that a go and see how that might turn out, you know? Also, I realize it's really dark. Let me turn the light back up in the house. I turned it down as I was experimenting with some of the lighting stuff, but here, let me turn it back up. There we go. But yeah, does that make sense? I know a little bit of that is kind of like, just imagine, but, you know, yeah, I don't know. I played, like I said, I didn't completely tear everything down, but I was running through the build like 100 times. I mean, man, I don't know, countless times, and trying out different layouts and stuff, either in my head, like just like planning them out in my head, or sketching them out, or building bits of them and trying to imagine them scaling out. And it just, every iteration, just, it wasn't landing for me, if that makes sense. I don't know. For those of you who have done housing and, you know, creative work, which I think many of you have, I hope you can resonate with this feeling, right? Of where you just, sometimes it's true that you have an idea and you really need to run with it for a little bit, and sometimes it eventually kind of unsolves it, or it solves itself, right? And it evolves into what it wants to be. That is very true. But sometimes I know you just kind of can feel that like a direction that you're trying is just not really working. Like it's just not really capturing the feel that you want, and the look and the vibe. And it feels like this is going to be like, it feels so off that it feels like it'd be a waste of time to explore too deeply into that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, okay. This actually will present an interesting opportunity here, where I'm going to show you a little look at how I built prominence in an indirect way because of what I'm proposing. You'll get to, this actually pivots us in a bit of a interesting direction where I think hinted at how I did this, but I'll show you in a way how I did this at prominence. Since we're talking about now building above the staircase and kind of creating this thing. So, okay, let me catch up on chat really quick here, but let's see. Oh, okay, so sorry, this is like way back, but like Griffin, I know you're talking about, so yeah, exactly, the earlier dialogue options were limited, but it's still good to keep your character in mind when questing in case you want to use it as inspiration for your character's backstory. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, I'm always fascinated by the RP mentality and stuff, both because I'm not really fully in that mentality, but I can see, having now played so much 14 and kind of, in a way, I can feel how I've kind of become my character in a lot of ways. And that whole mindset and aspect does fascinate me on its own level, like just purely from an RP perspective. But I also think learning more about the RP mindset also has been very beneficial to me as a venue creator, as a person who's creating these spaces, because part of what I'm doing as I'm talking about this, when I'm saying, oh, I'm walking through this space here and I'm imagining what this feels like, and it doesn't feel right, you know? And a lot of that has to be because I'm trying to put myself in not just as a person playing a character in a virtual world, but I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of this person, you know, feeling it like this, right? And trying to imagine, what does this feel like for someone who is fully invested in that this character walking around in the room is them. You know, what does this feel like to them? What is their experience? What is their the vibe and the emotion that is going through their head as they're progressing through the build, right? And sometimes, and like in this case, I think right now, my mind is going all over the place, but hopefully this is interesting to people. So another thought that I had is, right now, the progression that that happens when you walk into this build, right? Oh my God. Hold on. I almost grabbed something I didn't mean to. Again, pro tip, turn on rotate tool when you're running through the build. especially if you're going to use ghost mode here, where you just like open a housing menu. Turn on rotate mode so you don't actually move anything. So right now the progression is you walk in the room and like you walk up to heaven, and then at some point in the night it switches to hell, and you walk back down, and then you go through the other direction. So it's like left and right directions. Right, left is hell, right is heaven. And scam calls. Sorry about that. But I think the way that I have this laid out in my head now with the new thing I just proposed, where heaven is floating in the middle and hell is below, I think there might be a little bit more of like a storyline progression that leads you throughout the night. I won't trap I'll try not to trap anybody anywhere, like where you like just can't move forward, but like this will make a little more sense when I start building things out a bit more. But I hope you guys are okay with the idea that it might not be as clean as this perfect exact door left and right, you know? Because I know right now it's like very symmetrical, and I get why that's nice in its own way, but I think it might be a little bit more asymmetrical in terms of how this entry looks. Hopefully that's okay. Again, I could always put it back if we really, really hate it down the road or something, you know? So, also, hi, Sakiko. Sorry, I'm like, I know I'm behind on messages, but hi, Sakiko. Hi, Brandon. Welcome back to the stream, both of you. You can help with, you said you can help with that if you would like. Sakiko, what are you referring to when you're saying you can help me with that? Sorry, I'm like all over here with this. Oh man, look at all these beautiful emotes and stuff going off. What you were doing as far as what you're doing as far as thought design and how a person would feel and react to the design is no different than building for roleplay purposes. It's just a different person at that point. Right, exactly. Well, so that's the thing is I am very much built whenever I'm building spaces in 14, I am fully coming at it with the mentality that this is a real space for real people, effectively. Like for all intents and purposes, our avatars in this game is us, right? It's the stand-in for all of us. So like whenever I'm building for these, unless it is specifically like a photo studio or something where it's supposed to be a facade, and like literally in game it's supposed to look like a facade that's obvious and visible that it's a facade. I would say like 90+% of the time when I'm building, I want there to be no reason that it breaks immersion for your character and for you as the person who might be putting your mind into your character, you know? And so, yeah, the more I can make you feel like you forget that you're in 14 or that you're in just some like giant box in player housing, then better. There you go. We can trap Valkyrie. Oh my goodness. There you go. We'll trap them in a good way. I got some tricks up my sleeve here. I won't reveal all of my secrets, but I will reveal some. Phalo Linares, nice to see I'm working in your favorite club. Oh, well, good. Yes, this is, I know a lot of people really do enjoy this club. And I very much hope that that what I do with the club definitely keeps, how to say this, it's going to be an evolution forward, hopefully, you know? But it will still hopefully feel like the Eluded Ecstasy that you definitely love, but just maybe evolved a little bit or something, iterated on, you know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Sleepy 24/7? Welcome back to the stream as well. Oh, and let's see. So Kiko's saying, oh, you were saying the RP aspect of things and walking through a space. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. To walk through the space. Yeah, no worries. I mean, I say that I don't RP, but I mean, I definitely have, I think, a sense of scale and space within within myself, where I can walk around through the space and get a feel for how things feel or don't feel. This is like I talk about this a lot whenever people bring up the size of the dance floor, especially like at Ichi. This came up a lot, right? It always comes up whenever we talk about this, about that. The reason Ichi's dance floor is the size it is because I would walk up and down off the stairs and around the dance floor like over and over and over and over again, and project myself like 100 times all around the room in my head and just kind of like try to feel out how that's supposed to feel. And so that's what I'm doing here too with like with this club, is kind of imagining it full at times, or imagining like a bunch of people moving around through it to try to figure out like how the flow of everything's supposed to go, you know? And okay, thank you for your trust, Amelia. I appreciate that. Munio, or Muneo? Is it Muneo or Munio? But hello, I see that cute little... It's a cat wave? Look, a cat wave. Soda Wave by Soda Poppin'. Nice. Welcome to the stream. Evolution. There you go. Yes, we are evolving. Yue Luna. Oh, I remember. Yeah, you were on the stream too. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can't wait to see it finished either, to be honest. Okay, so... Oh, did we empty the inventory of this house? So something I had asked about was... Oh yeah, see... Okay, I'm gonna ask on stream since I know we have maybe some members of the FC here. Do we have any FC members who have access to this house, though, who can help me take out some of the items in this inventory? Because I have like very little room to use new items and kind of play around with stuff. And there's a bunch of stuff. I posted it in our the little chat in Eluded Ecstasy, by the way. The what do we call it? Temp rebuild channel. But maybe I'm gonna fire it out here to other people since maybe the message didn't get out. But I need help removing some items from the inventory here. Like there's like a shitload of chairs and some other stuff in here that we can get rid of for now. Don't destroy them, but I just need someone to like move them to an inventory that is accessible even after I leave the FC, you know? So I don't want to put it in like my retainers. And also I don't even have retainers on this character. I'm like level 2. So, but like I listed some stuff in there, like the bamboo planters can go, basically every single chair. There's like a ton of chairs in here. I think taking out the chairs, the bamboo planters, wine glasses, wine barrels, shipping crates, like these right here. These can all go. And then dress hangers, wine glasses, right? If all of those go, that will free up probably like 100 slots, and that I think will be at least good enough to work with for now. But just right now, you know, we're like capped out on slots basically. So. Okay. That little butterfly emote for Eluded is so cool with the dual colored wings. I love that. Okay, so hear me out. Let's see, how many spaces do I have in my inventory? Basically no space in my inventory. So my inventory is a mess. So is the inventory in the house here. But okay, so here is where we get into the topic for today. So the topic for today is working on the... I just want to make sure I said this correctly. The dance floors and the DJ stages. So this basically, and effectively, because this club is so many things, all this is going to be is effectively 2 giant dance floors and then pathways in between, right? We don't really have much room for too much else, slot-wise, since we only have 400 slots, right? So, okay, one thing I also want to raffle off to the folks of Eluded and get kind of approval on this, but the for the DJ stages, do we actually need DJ decks at both the Heaven and Hell? I don't think so, because right now we have just the book, right, for Heaven, and then I think Hell did have a DJ stand per se, but I don't think that's actually a requirement, right? I think that's sort of, I think I'm free to play around with what that is. Since I think actually maybe this is a good distinction. An important distinction that I think I was learning as I was thinking through and experimenting with this concept here for Eluded is that what we're going for here is not a club that is themed like Heaven and Hell. I think I'm getting the vibe, and even like the way I want to take this is we are going for literally, we're partying in Heaven and partying in Hell, right? Which I think is an important distinction, right? Because like there could be a club that, like, for example, a Vegas nightclub that has the theme of Heaven or theme of Hell. So it's still going to feel like a nightclub. It's got all the lasers and it's got all the things, but it's got like elements that kind of try to go for a Heaven vibe. But I think what we're going for here, especially as I was re-looking at, you know, like the Heaven dance floor and kind of thinking this out, right? Okay, I think your yes is responding in affirmative to what I just said, right? Which is we are literally partying in Heaven and literally partying in Hell, and that's what we're going for. So actually, to that end, we don't even necessarily need to have speakers or DJ decks. You could kind of just argue that maybe this is like the prevalent soundtrack happening just like throughout Heaven or something, right? Like this is just a Heaven dance party. Like where's the sound coming from? Who fucking knows? It's Heaven. We can do what we want, right? And that does free up some slots though, right? Potentially. I'm not saying that we wouldn't put DJ decks or anything, but I do think that that's a good distinction to make, because then we don't have to, like, if we have to nix some stuff out, we don't need speakers and stuff, right? So like even down here, I'm not saying that there isn't a space where we might want speakers, right? But right now, you know, there's like extra slots here being used to create the DJ decks, or back here, right? This is 3 slots, and then you double it, so that's 6 slots. This is 6 slots just to make these 2 speakers. And technically, do we need them? If the answer is no, then, well, we can keep it in mind, but we don't need to worry about saving, you know, 40 slots just to create elements that make it resemble an actual club. If all we need is it needs to look like a demon hellhole, right? I guess, and like partying up in the clouds, right? We can really just try to go all in on that theme. So, yes, 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 and yes. And also I did see you say Money-o. But most just say Munyo. Money. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So Munyo. Most just say Money-o, but now I'll say I want to pronounce people's names however they want me to pronounce it. So, Munyo. Okay. First of all, Munyo, thank you very much for the follow. I very much appreciate that. And welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. And yes, for anybody in the stream, please, if I ever mispronounce your name, tell me how you want me to pronounce it. Not just like, you don't need to be like, oh, well, you know, everybody can't pronounce this or something like that. But to the best of my ability, I will always try to pronounce your name correctly, even if it's some French name or, you know, German or Italian or Japanese or whatever it is, right? If anything, I think it's kind of fun to try to learn how to pronounce, you know, the or those, you know, like those interesting sounds, right? I think it's an interesting challenge. Okay, so here we go. Let me see. Chicken soup. There you go. Munyo. And yes, Teague, yeah, we are totally leaning into the theme. We are going to go just deep dive into this theme, which I think will be the most interesting too, you know? Because I think some of the themes, they don't really... There are some aesthetics or themes out there that kind of work best when it's a club that is themed like cyberpunk, or something, you know, or whatever it is, right? Like there's some things where it works like that. But I think, yeah, in this case, we are going to try to like make it feel as literal as like partying up in heaven and partying down in hell. Let's see. And I think the way I've now decided to, after I'm thinking through it, is for purgatory. After researching some more about purgatory and kind of what it is or isn't, basically there is no visual description of what purgatory is supposed to be like, but all the descriptions talk about just how purgatory is effectively the waiting room of heaven, right? If you had to sum it down to like a sentence, right? Where it's basically, you've been blessed enough, or, you know, you've been cleared to like go to heaven because you've lived righteously enough, but you're not quite cleansed completely of your earthly sins and whatnots yet. So you need to like pay your dues or kind of like finish figuring that out before you're allowed fully in heaven, where you could fully embrace all of eternity and everything like that. So conceptually, what that means to me is time, right? Is the biggest indicator that you're in purgatory is there is still an element of time. It's not eternal because it ends and then you go to heaven, right? Whereas heaven and hell, in theory, are both eternal, right? I mean, I think that's one of the big key things about both of them is once you're in one of those, you're kind of there forever, supposedly. So time has no bearing on either of those things, but time should still be present within purgatory. And if anything, that would be something, in a philosophical way, I thought about it, where I thought, you know, what would be one of the things that you need to release, like, or get rid of in terms of earthly things before you go to heaven, right? And one of the things is heaven is eternal, and so you need to get rid of the sense of time. You need to get over your impatience of time, right? Like, I need to have this now. I need to do this now. I need to overcome this now, or obtain this money or this fame now, because my time is finite. That doesn't matter in heaven. And you bringing that sense of urgency, which kind of generates greed or, you know, foul play a lot of times in a sense, right? Fear of not gaining something with enough time. If you bring that shit into heaven, that would be a real problem, right? So I feel like one of the biggest things that they'd want to train you for, or like get you over in purgatory, would be the sense of time being such a major factor in your life. And so there would almost be like a meditation in a way about time. Anyway, this is my long thought process to say, I'm going to put a shitload of clocks in purgatory, I'm thinking, and kind of make it almost like a giant waiting room. Because I think that's the most key aspect of purgatory, is it's like the waiting room before you go to heaven. Let's see, F member not inside. Same problem you had. I can open the house, yes, by the way. Catching up on chat here. State settings, you want me to open the house? Guest exit settings. Okay, should be open now. Does that theming? Oh, there they are. Hello. Oh. Hello. All right. It is what it is. We don't. Perhaps I'm not worthy to go to heaven just yet. We must abandon all sense of everything. Just embrace fully everything, right? Let's see. What are we doing? I'll let you do whatever you need to do up there. Yeah. Does my thought then on purgatory and that kind of thing make sense? Does that track? Melon Mayes. Hey, hello. Oh, that's you. I'm guessing that in the lovely chicken head up there. Yvette Rose, hello. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for that follow. Glad to have you here. This man says is how they pronounce. Let's see. But yeah. Red Rhea, you like that theming? Perfect. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna, I think we are, I'm liking where we're headed with this. So we have the sort of grandness and the open vastness, blue skyscape of heaven, right? Very white and bright and marbly and archways and these kinds of things. Hell is sort of like a fiery, demonic pit with like lots of spiky elements, that kind of thing. And purgatory is like the waiting room with sort of like this prevailing element of sort of like static, like meditation or like time, I guess. I'm almost imagining like you're waiting, like a waiting room of an office building or something with like a bunch of clocks, you know, because there is the concierge desk up top too, right, where the greeter will be. So I almost think it'd be kind of cool if the presentation, if I can do this without using too many slots, but like I think it would be kind of interesting if we have that that element of that at that purgatory level there is the almost like not a time mage, but like, you know, this concierge. It's kind of just like, hey, please like take your seat and just like wait around, right? Like, oh yeah, thank you for, you know, welcome to purgatory. Please have a seat and wait for 10,000 years before you're allowed to go to heaven, or whatever your, you know, the judgment has been upon you, right? So, in question 2 for the folks at Eluded. So for when it comes to the what do you call it, the confessional booth, we talked about this last time a lot, the confessional booth, but there was this aspect, I think it came up last time too, which is, should the confessional booth in fact be in purgatory and not in heaven? Because once you're in heaven, you don't need to confess anymore. That's the whole point, right? The whole point is you're done. You've absolved yourself of all your sins and all that stuff, right? So it's really more about like being, you know, all, you know, like just like it's like a party up in there, right? So question, would we be opposed to the idea of having maybe the purgatory or the confessional booth possibly be in purgatory as one of like the little visuals there? You know, I'm not sure if that was something though that you like really needed to have in heaven, because I remember that was the original pitch, is you were like, oh, put it in heaven. And Munyo, oh, so you're new to 14? You're just taking all this experience in? Holy shit. Yes, welcome to Final Fantasy 14, where, you know, you have stumbled upon quite a world of possibility and happenings. Welcome. This is but a snippet, but a taste of what you can find in the nightlife scene of 14, you know? Oh my gosh, yeah, it was the Lord of the Underworld. That's what it was. Taking away the items. Let's see, yeah, see, the confessional could be check-in desk or something like that, yeah. Thank you, Yvette Rose. I'm an RP performer, so always checking out venues. Would love to learn more about housing and decorating. Well, hot damn, you came to the right place. Yeah, I stream housing regularly, and I own my own nightclub, Prominence Nightclub, and I've built. This will be the third club, well, technically fourth actually. Now, if you count Obsidian, that I've built. But yeah, I this is a great place to kind of. I see myself as at the intersection between housing creative stuff and then like DJ nightlife stuff, since I do both regularly here. So like this week, I'll be both DJing at my own club that I built, as well as rebuilding this club and updating it. So yeah, glad to have you here, Yvette. Oh, Yvette, you should check out my YouTube. If you're just getting into housing, you should check out my YouTube channel. Sorry, not to show myself too much here, but like, my YouTube channel has VODs for all my previous housing streams, including some streams that I did that were tutorials for like the basics of housing and stuff. And then also, actually, I just finished doing a build challenge where everybody built to a prompt under the stars, and it was only in FC's and apartment rooms. And oh, can you guys hear me? We're back? Oh shit. Did it clip out for a second? Check. Bueller. Marco. I'm curious actually how this will work. Marco. This will give me a sense of how the delay is. Polo, boom. Okay, that was about like maybe 30 seconds or so. Interesting. Perfect. Okay, so you can hear me now. So, but yes, here, let me, there you go. There's my YouTube channel. So definitely for anybody who's like interested in housing and especially like just getting into it, I have some tutorial streams up there, Housing 101, Housing 201, where you can learn the basics of housing and how to do it without any third-party tools. And then also you might want to check out my 2 latest VODs that I just posted this past weekend, which is the housing tour where we toured the builds from that build challenge I was talking about. It's all in FCs and apartment rooms and no third-party tools. So, and everybody's building to a singular prompt of Under the Stars. And it's a super interesting, like, I think it is an awesome showcase of like what is possible with just apartments and FC rooms. Because I know a lot of people when they get started, they only have, you know, FCs and apartment rooms. So, that's like, it's like a perfect entry point, you know what I mean? So, have a look at that. And I got some other stuff on the way for that YouTube channel. So just wanted to give that shout out for anybody who's like new to 14, new to the scene and all that stuff, right? And Yvette, you should come to Prominence this Wednesday. I guess, okay, since I brought it up, I might as well do this too. Okay, so this is the card from my website, or my nightclub's website, Prominence Nightclub. We're open this Wednesday from 7 to 10 p.m. PST, and I'll be DJing. You should come out and check it out. And like, don't even worry if like you don't have that many glams or that many dances or whatever. It doesn't matter. We love everybody. So would love to have you. You should come check out the nightlife. It opens a whole can of worms in the best way possible. Okay, so to not... this is great. This is like, I love all this chat interaction. I know we haven't been doing that much building, but I do hope even just us chatting back and forth is great. I do really enjoy when we have a good conversation going with a bunch of folks. Feel free to lob out questions and stuff too, guys, if you have any questions for me. So, you know, happy to answer whenever I can. Sexy Chicken's still doing her thing over here. Let's see here. How many item slots do we now have? 50 item slots open. Perfect. Okay. So here is the thing. Oh, you have a ton of emotes and dances. That's true. You said you did RP, huh? So you would have a ton of dances and emotes. Uh-oh. What is happening? Hold on. Why is this? Hold on a second, guys. What is happening? Why is my network dropping so much? It might just be the internet near where I am or something. Let me see if I can close some stuff down. Maybe there's too many tabs or something open. Hold on, everyone. I'm sorry. I don't know why this would be the case, but there's a possibility it's this. Is it better now? Can you still hear me? We here? Can you guys hear me? Check, check. But glams, emotes, dancing. Totally understand though, not everybody does, but glams and emotes dancing is the end game. Oh yeah, housing housing and nightlife and glams, totally the end game. I think everybody who actually gets there is like that becomes very apparent very quickly, you know. And Munyo, noob question: are you able to visit other plots in different worlds? First of all, don't ever feel bad about asking questions like that, because if anything, there's probably someone else out there who wants to know the same thing. If not right now, in the future when people maybe watch the VOD or something, you know? Let's see. Yeah, so, first of all, yes, you can visit anybody's plot across a different world as long as you have the ability to data travel there, right? So on, like, for example, on North America, you can go across Primal, Ether, or Crystal now using data center travel. And so like my character here can go to anything on the North America data, or I think they call it logical/physical data centers. But I cannot take this character and go to Japan, for example. I would have to make a character over on the Japan logical data center cluster. And then within Japan, though, I can go between all the stuff. And then once you're in there, though, you can go to any plot as long as they've opened their house. You can like run up to any plot or any area as long as you have the address. So, oh, this is a good point too. Eluded Ecstasy, the club that I'm actually building, is actually open tonight as well. It just won't be open inside the club. It'll be open out in the yard outside, and they'll be DJing. So I'm gonna lock the house back up really quick, just to make sure that people don't bomb on in here right now. So the house is gonna be locked up. But if you want to come party tonight too, they're going to be partying out in the yard. So just letting you guys know. Let's see here. Raxus Kuro. Hello. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I see your first time chatter. Welcome in. Loud and clear. Okay, everyone can hear me. The Dragon of Woe is asking I think you're saying something. I just wish there was a more immersive RP. There was more immersive RP places to take my characters to. Dragon. So I don't know this firsthand since I am not RP centric first, but there is quite an extensive RP community in this game. So I bet it might just be an issue of you needing to do a little more hunting around or asking around for people to find the venues and spaces that are like really deep RP centric. Because while I don't know, I can't name you them off myself. I know like my bartender Honey Jade, she's like really into the RP scene, and I know that like she runs or goes to a lot of venues that are like deep dive RP. You know, it's like 100% when you walk in that door, the moment you walk in, every single person in that place is full RP mode. So I think there's definitely, hopefully, something out there for you that you can find. Let's see. He moved to make any replies to Noah's mic checks polo. I agree with this. I'm okay with this. And Rofcast, hello. Hi, Rof. Let's see. Onion needs you to dye the pathway outside. Slate gray. Okay. Stream quality seems to be good. Okay. I think we're back. We're back. Right? Good. So. Oh, there you go. So Sukiko, if Sukiko's saying Lux is something that's very RP based. Yeah. I don't know. Here, this is the, at least I was gonna say like you guys should like link up and like chat and stuff. I can't think of a better way to at least like do this at the moment, but unless you want to message each other here in Twitch, which go for it if you want. But like, feel free to keep fielding some more venue information for like Dragon and stuff. But if any of you guys want to, you're also welcome to join my Discord. You don't even have to join the community if you don't want to. If you just want to get notifications about like when I go live and upcoming events, you can just opt into that without even joining the rules, actually. But if you want to join the community, you can, and then you could talk to some of the people in the stream. Because it sounds like a bunch of you guys have a lot of mutual interests, and we talk about both housing and DJ nightlife stuff in there, and it'd be a great place to connect with a bunch of people from stream and like find out more about events and where everybody's going or ideas and all that kind of stuff. So just want to put that out there. Okay, one more. Melon was looking at the wrong list and accidentally removed a few things you had placed. Are you okay with me coming over to wait. Removed a few things you had placed? Are you okay with me coming over to deliver them to you? Yeah. Are you asking me if it's okay if you come into the stream right now? If so, the answer is 100% yes. Emilio, you literally own this place. First of all, and yes, you are of course welcome to come pop in. Don't worry about it. Hello, Sexy Chicken. I don't have inventory space very much, but what do you have for me here? Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Melon was trying to ask me this, which is Sexy Chicken, right? What do you have for me? I might need to move my inventory space though, because I just don't have much inventory. There you go. Yeah, you can message Kiko about that. Let's see, so... Got you. Melon was asking. Did you need to message? No? You don't need to trade? I don't know. I'm not sure if you wanted to trade or not. Oh, I see what you're just doing. Just putting it down. Oh, okay. To be honest, we're basically rebuilding everything in here anyway, so a lot of this shit is going to get torn down anywho. Oh, okay. Well, where did all these come from, actually? I'm curious. Where did these even get pulled from? Let's take a look. It's not here. It's got to be over here. So you probably blew up some of the Heaven dance floor somewhere. Yeah, there's some pillars gone, I think, maybe. That's now open. There was a pillar right here. Don't worry though, you didn't mess anything up. Honestly, like I said, we're gonna basically tear this whole thing down. So, you're good. Let's store this, store. Gotta clear out this inventory, just a whole bunch of crap in here. Okay. Amazing. Holy shit, this might be... Wow, we actually have 55 people in here right now? That's at least my thing is saying. This is the most I've ever had on a regular building stream. Hot damn! Welcome everybody to my housing stream. I hope you are enjoying yourselves and enjoying a look at the creative process here. Where the hell did you even get... Okay, oh, I know where these are from. This is from the backdrop. This was hiding the demon walls behind in the basement. This was from the dance stage. This is from the bar. This is the speakers. Okay, so let me just guess. The speakers are gone now, and the demon walls in the very, very back in the original stage are all exposed. So there we go. The railings are gone back here. The speakers are gone, and there they are. All the demon walls are exposed. Gives you a little look. If you guys remember the very first stream, I mentioned like, oh look, they like put curtains to hide the demons, to not have them poking out of the wall. So there you go. That's what it looks like without the curtains. Fun. Actually, that looks actually kind of cool. It kind of looks almost like art or something, you know, like in some kind of wacky museum. I gotta say, actually looks a little bit awesome. So, is it breaking again? Uh-oh. I can see the thing is rotating. What is happening? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Marco. The summon. The summons has gone out. Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome back. How is this now? Can everybody hear me okay? Is this sounding better? Does this look better? Seem better? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Okay, here we go. So, Alora, Teague, Ray, Bode, Munyo, Tsukiko, Never Too Dark to Play, Alora, Melon, Zevin, Dragon, Griffin. Welcome, everybody, back to the stream. Thank you, Minerva, for telling me that I'm live. I'm glad that I'm live and I have that after confirmation. Holy crap. Okay. Okay, are we live? Does this sound like, can you guys hear me? Can you see me okay? I'm gonna like run around a little bit and like, you know. Does this look smooth? Slash dance. There we go. Let me do my little bun boy dance. Woo! Oh yeah. Okay. Absolutely beautiful. 10 out of 10 minus the horrible 0 out of 10 that it was at a little bit ago. But you know what? Maybe that's perfectly balanced as all things should be. Kind of like this club will be. Heaven and hell, you know what I mean? Oh man, okay. So I guess call all your friends back. Where did you go, everybody? I'm so sorry. Ugh. Man, you know, isn't that how life just goes though, you know? Like, you know, if there was a time when life is gonna just rain on your parade, it would be this one time when things are like going particularly well too, you know? Uh-oh, I actually see the network dropping frames again. What is happening? Wait, hold on a sec. What is... I see the little diagram thing saying that the dropped frames is from the network, but what on the network is causing this? I'm so confused. Okay, maybe hell is not a great place to be. Who knew? Let's try going up to heaven? Question mark? It was fine for like the first hour of the stream, right? Like, or the first like bit there. I don't know what happened. What changed? The arrival of the one true sexy chicken? Too powerful, too sexy, too sexy. Okay, wait, hold on. Settings. I'm looking at my settings. Like, I'm trying to figure out like if something got goofed up the last time I restarted or something. This is like the exact same settings that I always use though. There's like nothing open too. Like Chrome isn't open. Nothing's open. I'll quit even more stuff though, just in case. Everything. Quit all the things. How many things can I quit here? 2%? That's weird. Yeah, I have like, normally my idling stuff is also like not this high when I'm just streaming housing. This is very frustrating. Let's see here. Okay, do I still sound super weird and wonky? Let me reset this. Maybe it's the con? Fucking hell, I don't know. Just never sounded weird to you? This is never too dark to play? That's weird. So like for you, it's been crystal clear this entire time? Maybe it's an output thing. Like maybe it's outputting just like weird to certain areas? Okay, yeah, no, I was seeing that same thing, but I am curious if anybody does look on the at like, I don't know, Twitter / sort of server status, if there is something going on. Is Twitch getting DDoSed or something like that? I don't know. DDoSed? What is it? DDoSed? I think that's the term. Is it just me? Is it just me? Did I get too close when we were describing what heaven and hell is like? Did I get too close? You know, like, have you guys seen The Good Place? One of my, Doug Forsett? Like, a little bit too close on the nose for, like, what it is. And they're like, whoa, you know? Like, okay, well, shit. Okay, well, now that Twitch, really, or whatever just happened, I don't know, whatever that was, just threw me for a real big loop there. Let's try to keep going, question mark? Couple of comments from other streamers saying they lagged today, so maybe it's not just me. Interesting, okay. Wow, there's a lot of, these are a lot of big structural things. Okay, well, whatever. Honestly, I'm just gonna blow. If anybody really had attachment to this lobby area, sorry. Bye-bye. I just need this open up. I need to open this thing up. I need to be able to see what the fuck I'm doing here. Okay. Wow, look at that. There's a whole house in here. Uh-oh. Now I can't exit out of the menu. That's not a good sign. Okay. Check. Check, check. Can you guys still hear me? Still good? Okay. For fuck's sake. It's like probably, oh my gosh, this is like the most I've ever sworn on stream. I know people like to comment, but yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. Look, so much room for activities, guys. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's make some stuff happen here. Okay, so yeah. Weirdly, that time I don't even. I know. I appreciate that. Never Too Dark. The thing is that, okay, so normally the bottleneck is absolutely my setup, but that time for some reason it was not the setup, it was the network, which is really confusing. I'm 100% used to, and I can fully understand that my setup is like a massive bottleneck as it is. But that was weird. There was no indicator that the computer was not having enough, like, you know, stuff. It was the network was dropping frames for some reason. So it's like something to do with either the network here, like my own network, or maybe the servers, like sending it out to all of you. I don't know. That was super weird. Okay. In any case, now that we have this opened up, actually I want to open this up even more. What else is on here? There's almost all this crap everywhere. So much stuff. Okay. Thankfully, all this stuff's pretty easy to put back if we need to. Okay. What is over there? This stuff, this stuff, this stuff. Wait, what? Oh, planter. There we go. Wow, so much room for activities. Okay. So, now that this place doesn't even really look like much anymore, so what we need to do is we need to figure out how we're going to build out our dance party thing out here. So, oh boy, okay. Okay. Okay, so here's what's now going to happen. Okay, someone jog, like if we were in the middle of some conversation points, can someone help me jog the memory of where we were at with some of those? And while we're doing that, let me talk through what I have planned here. Okay, so how this is going to work now, right, is what we're thinking here is... Do I have some extra partitions now? I should have a bunch, right? So... we walk in the room, and we are faced with our little time capsule thing. And honestly, I think... let's see here. All right, you know what? Yeah, we might as well just blow this whole place wide open just so that everybody can see all the space we have to work with. And then we can start working from there. Okay, wow. If you've never seen a large before, this is what a large looks like when it's like stripped of a lot of stuff. Look at all this room for activities. Holy shit. So the thing is, there's no way that we're going to use all this space. We are going to truncate a lot of it off. And so... I was mentioning the look of purgatory, right? So, we walk in the room. let's lay out, and in a very crude way, let's lay out what this is supposed to feel like. Okay, so you walk in the room. Boom, purgatory is a little box that you're greeted with, right? Now, here's the thing, right? We have to start figuring out how this works out all together, because we're using multiple floors. And again, I mentioned this before, but it's important to consider how things need to be pushed through the floor and that kind of thing. How spaces interact with each other across, not dimensions, but across, you know, the space that we're going to be giving people to interact with. What I mean by this is, let us, for example, block out how big purgatory could be. Right? So I'm thinking now that we walk in and we are faced with this, roughly, right? So this space is now the waiting room, right? Now, then we need to get down to heaven and hell, and I think first and foremost, we need to have a place to go to heaven. And I think instead of originally it was you pivot at the door right here, boom, and you immediately go over here and start going to heaven. I think I'd like us to walk a little bit farther in the room first, and then I'm gonna have it be maybe closer to here where you walk through. And then we can do an ascent up to heaven about here and launch through the roof. And then you're gonna end up here, boom. Ideally facing this direction. Then you're gonna walk this way. This will be the greeting area that's really just to sort of set the mood of kind of like, boom, you suddenly blink your eyes and you're up in heaven, right? Now, when you arrive in heaven, what does that look like? I think one option would be you arrive and you're right in the middle of the dance floor. But I think it should be a little bit of a lead up. So I think there's that, whenever you see in movies, there's heaven. And when you arrive there, there's kind of like a moment, right? Where you kind of go, it's like, the way I would describe it is it feels like you blink, there's like the blinding white light or whatever kind of thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, poof, and there's just like this silence, right? Like this like peaceful silence and a vastness. And so like, I'm almost imagining like kind of arriving at like a garden or something, right? Like a peaceful sort of setting where you're just kind of like, whoa, oh shit, this is heaven, right? And then you walk here and you turn here and then you can walk through here and you're presented with sort of the party, the dance floor per se, down here, right? So that's kind of the progression that we're now going to go with here. But it also means, though, that if you think about this, right, like how does that work together, right? So if heaven needs to have a dance floor that's here, then we need to make sure that it doesn't interfere with where purgatory is, right? So here's like when I said this is going to be a look at how I built prominence, because in a way, this is a similar thread for kind of how prominence works in a way. There's going to be a few different things about it, but similarly, this is a look behind the scenes of the way prominence is laid out, because similarly, if you've been at prominence, then you know their dance floor is here. There's the stage right here, right? And actually right below the dance floor is the reception desk. You just can't see it, but it is perfectly hidden just below all the dance floor stuff. And hopefully maybe some of you didn't even realize that that's what was happening below there. But yes, it is similar to this, where right here is like where Sakiko or whoever our greeter is sitting, like right there, right below the stage. And a lot of planning prominence was figuring out what some of these elements that you actually see on the dance floor are below as well. But I had to figure out a way to lay them out where it looks seamless, right? It looks like, even if it's actually creating a visible element in both the upstairs dance floor area as well as the lower part, I needed to make it feel natural. So several of the the things that frame the dance floor are actually the same partitions that create the walls below when you're walking. But hopefully it doesn't feel like that. They hopefully feel like very distinct elements that are their own thing, right? So, uh-oh, shit. I see the red lights going off again. Oh, you gotta be shitting me. Okay. Is this kind of unwatchable? I'm so sorry, everybody. I feel like this is making it really hard to have like a proper thought process throughout this. I'm seeing it look like it's stable right now, but it just keeps dropping on randomly. What the fuck? Okay, let's think. What could be causing? Okay. Can you guys at least, for the most part, hear me? So if I keep talking through some of this stuff, hopefully that's still okay. Maybe. There you go. Someone live transcript what I'm saying, and then, you know, then I'll know, right? Like what went through and what didn't go through. Okay. We'll just keep trying. And thank you all for bearing with this. I am, again, so very sorry. As to I don't know what's happening. I'm not sure if it's on my end or if it's on this thing, but I can't do like a full. To be honest, I'm not a super IT person either, so I don't know even necessarily fully how to complete diagnose everything. Okay, so I'm hearing the music and the game goes a little wonky, but like like my mic is okay for the most part. Is that correct? That's what Griffin's saying. So like me talking on the mic is okay? Oh man, this is gonna be a real doozy to chop this thing back together for YouTube. But okay, yes, so the mic is fine. Okay, all right, we're gonna try to sally forth into this and just kind of keep going for a little bit longer. Although, well, yeah. We'll yeah. Okay. So to say, when we're making the dance floor, It is important that we keep in mind how the different partitions and things that go across the different levels have to interact with each other. So, for example, if you can imagine, right, that, right, even though, like, right here, you can't see any of hell below us, right? Right there, right? So, if you think, like, here, maybe, like, I can mark this out, right? So, let's just imagine the walls of purgatory go right here and right here, right? So that's like our corners, right? So like we have to think through, how does this work with hell? So if we're down here, see? So now if there's some stuff in the hell area that needs to get pushed up through the floor, it's gonna start poking through right here in our entryway, right? So this is, again, something where when you have builds across multiple floors, and especially if you're doing custom stuff where you're pushing stuff up to the floor, or just even like here, imagine that I have a partition here that I don't want on the ground. I want it to push it up to the floor a bit so that way, you know, something is floating up top here. If it's going to push through the floor, though, I have to consider that there's the entryway right here. And so this is where I said you'll get a look at maybe like how prominence actually only exists across 2 floors. So this is even more of a challenge where it's across 3. And part of what I was struggling to think through is, this is actually, I think this will be the first time that I've built across all 3 floors in a large. And so when it comes to how to lay out heaven, hell, and purgatory, how do you get all of those feeling big enough and complete enough, but have none of the elements of them overlap each other, right? So like an easy solution to this might be purgatory takes over the center of the build, heaven or hell only takes the left side, and heaven only takes the right side. That way there is no overlap between the levels, and that way if things get pushed up into different floors, there isn't actually an overlap to have them collide with each other. But the reality of the situation is kind of that they probably will overlap, at least a little bit, especially when it comes to hell needing to be big enough to house a full dance party, and still have the opening here, right? Or like this area where we have the entryway, purgatory. So that was also a reason though why currently the heaven dance floor is, you know, on the right hand side here, or on the left hand side, right? And that's fine, it's like way up here. But I think with some of the things that I wanted to do with heaven involves things like this, like pushing marble alcove beds up from the floor below, right? And they give a really nice heavenly kind of texture with the marble and all this stuff like that, except they're gigantic. So in order to use these, you have to push them up from below, and they basically take up an entire floor. So if I wanted any of these, like for example, a common thing people do, you take this marble slab and you use it on these stairs, right? You push it up from the floor below and you create custom marble stairs here. Really, really pretty looking. Except that means that there's a huge, huge chunk of this section below us that is completely unusable, basically, because there's just like a ton of beds poking through the floor, right? You could see how if I want to use the top marble bit here, I'd have to push it up to the floor, and pushing it up to the floor would mean going it like this. But you see how to get it as a stepping stone that's basically touching just the floor, it would only need to be floated up about that much, right? And you see how much that still sticks out the bottom? So this is why I was saying this gets kind of tricky, where we start thinking through, okay, so if I want the heaven dance floor here to be floating in this space, what makes up the floor of the heaven dance floor? It could be floor mats that are really flat, in which case they could slot like right above here. But if I wanted, for example, a marble texture as the dance floor, which I kind of do, then it kind of means that, for example, this is our dance floor, right? Like, let's just imagine for a second that I now use this as the foundation for the dance floor, which actually I might honestly end up doing, right? I would obviously space these out more properly, but you can imagine this is now the foundation of our dance floor, right? Ah, yes, but here's the problem. The dance floor then can only be this big, right? Because then it starts to encroach here on Purgatory. So now we have to think through, well, how does Purgatory work then? Do we shrink Purgatory? Or do we have to consider a different way to build the dance floor elements here, right? So one solution is you pull Purgatory, way forward, right? Like this, right? So you'd say like, oh, maybe Purgatory doesn't actually have to be that big. It can actually be like this, right? Okay, so now maybe we can even fit a few more of these in here, right? Like one more here. How does that start to feel? Does this feel like a proper dance floor? Is that big enough? And I think actually with that change, yes, the answer is kind of yes, especially when you consider that, they could probably use maybe some of this space, some of this space, possibly even the area up here. I don't know. Like, do you guys see though how this is like not maybe the most exciting part of the build, but like that this is a very important thing to get right. And kind of this then informs a lot of everything else that comes after that in terms of, the layout. And another thing here too is here's another peek at kind of how I had to think about prominence, right? And how I'm going to be thinking about this is, so if I want elements to be, covering up, for example, the Asian parts of these staircases, right? So this is very Asian looking, which doesn't really match the depiction of heaven that we're going for. Well then, how do we do this? We can't just place items. Sometimes you can place items just on top of here, but really the best solution for this to create a fully custom area here is to actually build the entire dance floor on the floor below. Right? And what I mean by that is I really do mean literally like prominence. And in this case too, I'm basically going to need to build the entire heaven dance floor down here in hell, which is a little bit poetic in a way, right? But like, I'm going to build the whole structure practically here because there's staircases right here, right? This is where the stairs is here, but there's unobstructed, no stairs, no stair railing or anything like that. So by using way markers and bathroom tiles and things to kind of figure out where all the elements above us are, I can actually structure the entire dance floor in the basement here and then push all of it through the floor, and not just once, but twice, because it needs to go through the floor so it sits on the ground floor. And then from the ground floor, it needs to float above the stairwell, right? So just to give you, again, a sort of an idea of like how prominence had to work, it's that, right? Which is the DJ decks and sort of well, not all the DJ decks, but kind of the whole thing. Like kind of the dance floor, the couches, the way, the steam rising, the fog machine kind of, so to speak, coming up from the floor. It all was laid out on the bottom floor in the basement and then floated up layer by layer up to the middle floor and then up above the stairwell. So you can see how maybe that gives you a little idea as to why prominence took me so long, and also why I haven't built that many things yet, because I've been trying to figure out how this needs to work, right? Because it doesn't do me too much good to build out the full hell if I know that I need to actually lay out all of heaven down here and then push it up to the floor. Hell is going to get in the way, right? So actually, I need to do that. It needs to be layered like that, right? It needs to be thought through. Heaven needs to be laid out down here, pushed through the floor, and then needs to be pushed up even higher than that. And then hell can get layered down in here. now taking into account anything from heaven that is poking back through the floor, right? And then by building out heaven, it will indicate how big purgatory needs to be, and then by building out purgatory, it indicates what room is left for hell to now take on its form, in terms of what can get pushed up through the floor, which doesn't mean you can't necessarily build underneath. It just means you need to consider if there are elements that are going to get rammed through the floor, where they need to go spatially, and how will they not then interfere with whatever's happening above. I think that wasn't the most clean way to say that, but did that make sense to everybody? Like, where the thought process that is needed to step through all that? That kind of, hopefully that made sense. I know without a visual aid, it's a little bit tricky because I'm kind of telling you guys, like, just imagine that that's kind of what needs to happen. But did that make some sense? You got it? Oh yeah. Yeah, Amphi, that's that's pretty accurate. It's definitely something that is a bit of a mind puzzle, you know? And in a weird way, that's one of the reasons that I really enjoy housing. It is a headache at times, I must say. Like, I'm definitely not doing this the easiest way, because obviously there's way easier ways to do some of this, or, you know, the literal ask was not to restructure this place this much. But I think, I don't know, this is such a cool opportunity though, right? Like, how often do you get to, like, envision what you think heaven and hell look like? You know what I mean? So, and like, you know, and I know, like, stuff that even from that too, like, I mean, further thinking, like, Suterusu last time, I don't know if you're here again, Suterusu, but like, I know they were talking about how, you know, they also spend a lot of time looking at camera angles and, you know, trying to figure out, like, how everything can be laid out, and how, you know, you make sure you have good vantage points. And I think the same way. I think I was rewatching the VOD and I realized I didn't respond to some of their comments about that. But yeah, so, like, I think we think the same way there, where there is a lot of thought also put into not just how the elements can all literally physically stack with each other, but how that creates certain vantage points and creates certain viewpoints and stuff for streamers and that kind of thing, you know? So, but I again, it is a headache in a way, or it could be seen as a headache, but I also think it's a really interesting puzzle, similar to maybe coding in a way, right? Or even design sometimes, where sometimes it is about, you're kind of like banging your head against the wall a little bit, like, oh my God, this isn't really working. But I think when the pieces start clicking into place, it's a special sort of, like, aha kind of high moment, you know, where you're just like, oh, that's, yes, you know, this is feeling good, you know, or like that, this is, it also, what is it? I'm not interested in just doing what other folks have done, right? Or like, what is the obvious answer? So, like, the obvious thing might be something like just put a few new pillars and stuff up in the box that is blah 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 somewhere area. But like, I want people to come into this thing and be like, holy shit, that was a very unique experience, you know, like, that was a very like, I want them to get lost in the build. I want them to not know where they are, right? Like, especially in this case too, like, I want the walls of the house to just vanish, and I want them to just feel like they're in heaven or they're in hell, or waiting in purgatory if they're into that kind of thing. You know, and that's where I really kind of want to, yeah, see if I can figure out a better way to capture that essence. By the way, never too dark to play. Thank you very much for the hydrate. I am indeed hydrating with both coffee and water, which is, I guess, simultaneously hydrating and not hydrating. But yeah. And you have to create a false ceiling in hell. I don't need to create a false ceiling, but I am probably going to create a false ceiling. So, yeah, because that okay. Thankfully, actually, the ceiling that already exists in the Hingen house here has the little red squares, and bright red squares they don't not fit in hell. At least it's not just like, like bright, pretty white or something, So I don't have to create a custom ceiling, but I want to. Because I think, once again, I want to sort of envelop the player as best as I can and try to make them feel like they're in a different place altogether. So, okay. That's some serious scope creep. That is true. Aramore, yes, you are correct. That is indeed quite a bit of scope creep off of what the initial ask was, which was, can you shrink hell down a little bit and make it more helly? And you can like fiddle around with heaven a bit. But I don't know. At the same time, do you really like? If you see my other stuff, do you really ask someone like me to do something like that? And like, I don't know. If you just want to like nudge some stuff around, I'm not really the right person to do that. If you just want some stuff like shoved around a bit, so. For anybody who's like, I mean, I'm probably not really gonna be doing. I don't really do very many commissions and everything. But like, if you were ever to consider even commissioning me in at all, if it's a thing that you're just moving some partitions around, like, I'm not the right one to commission. And I think the thing about this is, I would just be beating myself up if I would be beating myself up if I went full crazy and redid hell, and I just never even gave a shot at heaven, and some of the ideas that I had in there. Cause like if you, yeah, I don't know how else to say this, but just this with a theme this cool, how is my brain not going to go absolutely bonkers with all these ideas of how the two could interplay with each other and how to bring the whole thing to life, So, and and like, I know Amelia and them do just trust me to make stuff happen. So yeah. And Meredith Kun, makes total sense. That's how you do your house. I see first time chatter. Welcome to the stream. And cool. I'm glad it makes sense. And also welcome to the housing stream. I also never said this earlier, but Raxo Scuro? I'm not exactly sure if I'm pronouncing that correct, but thank you very much for that follow. I know you followed a long time ago, but it was during all that craziness where we were like, the stream was cutting out and blah, 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 blah. So I don't think I officially thanked you, but thank you very much. And verbally, thank you very much, Bode Oak, for the 5 gifted subs earlier in the stream. Thank you so much. You gifted them while the stream was offline while I was restarting. And thank you so much for that. I very much appreciate that. So. And yes, Boat Oak, I did think about that. There are absolutely some elements of prominence that could easily have fit into this, like hell, for example, like the stove motif that I used in prominence. And so I'm not totally axing that possibility out, but I also kind of want to try to make this club feel very distinct. So, I think, yes, in short, I did consider this. I did, as I was looking through architecture elements and like trying to figure out what to use as building blocks, I did consider the fact that there would be a way to rework several elements of prominence that would actually fit quite nicely into the theming of this place. But I really, with the theme that is so, on paper, different than prominence, I wanted to try to see if I could really make something that feels very unique and very distinctly different from the both. So that way, from prominence. So that way, when you see the collection of my work across the different clubs, hopefully every single one of them feels very unique, and not just kind of like just recombining elements or something. You know what I mean? So. And I have some ideas for Hell that I think will allow it to be very much its own thing and look nothing like prominence, but still be very demonic, hellscapey, you know? Yeah. So basically what's going to have to happen is, yeah, this whole area right here is going to become our dance floor. And so this is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to talk through this, but I'm probably not going to be able to fully show this just on this particular stream, but this needs to feel like it's in a giant skybox too. So in a way, there's two wrappings of this. There's an inner shell that is a dance floor and an outer shell that is a skybox. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. Up here in heaven, at least, right? There's two layers of the build that I need to try to communicate. And so that also needs to be laid out. Yet another reason why I feel like it's important to have this potentially laid out on the floor below and then all pushed up together. Several of these things also need to be pushed up and layered at different heights and stuff to create the effect that we want. So it's going to be a lot of layering and having to envision how the elements all intersect and connect up above. And sometimes that involves taking bits and pieces and creating, what is it? Like little packets of design. So what I mean by that is, like at Prominence, for example, I had to figure out how does one chunk of the couch area work, right? Like, so lay out all of the cabinets that form the backboards. How do the couches themselves fit together? And then how does a table interact with those sofas and stuff, right? So, and that's like a packet. It's like a single design unit. Okay, so then I know I want tables on both sides. So how does that work in the collective space that I have here, right? You can imagine a couch section right here and a couch section right here. And how does that interact with the stairs? Is there two sections of couches? And if you know Prominence, then you know there is. So there's a larger section and then a smaller section up front. So that's connecting two of those design packets together. Then how does that interact with the floor? Okay, so there's a layer of the floor, and there's also a layer of steam rising up above the floor. So that means there needs to be two layers, a floor that's at least a few pixels above the steam layer. And also, if there's anything in the steam layer that pokes up through the floor more than a couple pixels, like the buckets, if you guys know how the steam is made in Prominence, then you know that part of it is tubs, and there's a little tub of water next to the tub, and that needs to also then be accounted for and rotated to hide off inside other elements so that it can be tucked away and it doesn't show visibly through the floor, right? So in Prominence, it's like there's a fog layer that's a design element, there's a dance floor, a design element, couches that with tables, that is a design element, and they all then slot in their own ways, in their own layers, above the dance floor. This one is not going to be as layered on the floor itself. It's going to be more layered in the structure. And what I mean by that is, I don't think we're going to get as complicated with the types of couches and stuff. And we're not going to worry about having like a full 4-deck DJ deck setup. I think it's much more important that we capture the environment of heaven than we do all of the little, like the thing in Prominence, I tried to capture the vibe of a real nightclub as well, you know, in terms of spacing, in terms of design elements, lighting, you know, like fog machines, these kinds of things. And so here, though, I think it's so much more important that we're just trying to capture the essence, the vibe, the environment that feels like you're up in heaven. And the actual dance floor itself might be a little bit more on the simplistic side, because it doesn't need to be. In fact, yeah, I think to maximize the space too, we don't want to clutter it up with couches and stuff. It'll burn slots and it'll burn up space on the dance floor. And already, we're going to be a bit compacted, I think. So, yeah. So basically I have my work cut out for me. Red Rhea is saying, I think you said it a little while ago, but they're getting ready for the show. DJ, is it years? How does anyone know how to pronounce that? How does DJ YRYS, how do they pronounce that? Is it years? Years? Or Wirus? I don't know if anybody like knows Hololive, but like I read that, I look at that and I think like Iris from Hololive. So DJ Wirus. I don't know, whatever. Well, anyway, I guess they're starting outside because yes, this club is not, well, okay, the inside is not open because I'm standing in here and I've blown the place up. But the outside is currently open, so they're actually partying just outside these walls and they have no idea what we're doing in here. But in case you do want to come and party at Eluded Ecstasy in their outside yard, allow me to post here the address for this place in case you want to come check it out. Where's the address here? Here we go. I got you. Okay, there we go. So if you would like to come to party here at Eluded Ecstasy, they are currently out in the yard. It's Crystal, Mateus, Shirogane, Ward 12, Plot 37. And I will actually raid over to them after I'm finished here on stream. So that way, I mean, that makes sense, right? Meredith Kuhn, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. I very much appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. And will you need bodies to help you float? I always have a wall shelf in my pocket. Ah, yes. No worries. No, I think I will be okay. In fact, actually, I prefer to float without anybody else around, ideally, actually, because I know there's some weird stuff that happens sometimes when too many people are moving stuff around in a house, and it can get kind of confusing. So I think, it works best when I'm just floating kind of in a void on my own. But yeah, let's see. Bring your carbuncle and join the party. Is it a carbuncle? Is it carbuncle night? Let's see. Oh, another element to consider is how does this lamp interact? Because originally, this was the lamp here. Not that it can't still be this, but so to say, this is another thing worth considering, is can we make this chandelier, especially now that we're going to use this area as our dance floor potentially, can we make use of the fact that this chandelier is a massive structural element? Or do we want to take, for example, make it the gold saucer chandelier, or make it the like a Riviera pendant or something, where it's very minimal and it's basically like hideable, and then it just kind of, we can hide it in the ceiling or something, right? Or is there a chandelier that works well with the overall design, that really can still feel like it belongs in the world that we're trying to sort of create here? And I think the short answer actually here is yes. I think that there is some chandeliers and ways we can work with this, but yet another thing to consider is, does this give off the right color temperature? So I know something that strikes me, right, is, color temperature of the light adds a lot to the mood. And I know right here, what we're going to try to emulate is the idea of partying outside, right? So for example, if you use this, I'm not sure that can't work necessarily, but it also feels very warm and kind of like a more intimate kind of lighting, right? And so that's where, should we use something like this that's more white and bright? And even like the skylight that I originally had in here, right? Is that more of like natural sunlight? But it also kind of adds all of this. I don't know. It could be a really cool thing where you get to party here, but that's kind of blinding too, right here. So I don't know. Is that something that we're able to deal with? Or should it be like this? I don't know. All these questions, that are maybe worth trying to kind of answer, and that I will have to answer as I'm building this thing out. So I'll be experimenting around with trying to figure out how to integrate this with the architecture that I'm bringing in here. So yeah. And it is a carbuncle party. It is. So it is a carbuncle party. So if you are coming to party over here at Eluded Ecstasy, then yeah, you will want to bring your carbuncle with you if you have that available. And yeah, Zanny, I did see the Crystarium chandelier as well. And the sun, indeed, it could look like. That is, in fact, the chandelier that is at Prominence. Although it is off because of the way that I wanted to light Prominence. But I remember that, yes, that is another good one, where it is a bit of a high-profile light that also looks a lot like the sun if you hide it in the right way. So, this, I think, though, if I'm thinking through this correctly, there's a reason that that it might not work to have it as the sun. I'm not 100% sure, but it might. The way that this needs to work to create the illusion that we're going for, I'm not sure if the sun, if we want it to actually look like there's the sun, or whether we want more of like an architecture thing that just kind of hangs down. I think that'll make sense as I'm building out more of it. But yes, I am in the same sort of general vein as what you're thinking. Dang. I do really love the Hingen structure too, but like, man, it would be kind of nice if these rails were like a different theme, like they weren't so distinctly Asian. I really wished actually that we could change the structure in here. That would be really nice. Like I would love to be able to swap out these rails and make them, the Ishgard ones or something else, because like it's very beautiful, the inside of a Hingen house here, but it's so Asian, And so for Asian build, it's amazing. But if you're not building a traditional style Japanese Hingen looking thing, it really clashes with the design and you end up having to just hide everything. And I would love to be able to just use the rails as they are. I still might be able to a degree. with some finagling here, but it's gonna be a little bit tricky. But not impossible. So. But yeah. Okay. So that I think kind of gives a lot of you a bit more of an idea of where I'm taking all of this, and kind of where I have evolved the concept from where we previously all talked. Hopefully that gives you another look, a bit more of a look where you'll probably see me taking it next. And yeah. Trying to think. Makes sense to talk about anything else here on the stream right now. Does anyone have any questions about stuff? Let's see here. I guess I'll give another, just a quick another shout out here too. I talked about this at the beginning of the stream, but I have finally gotten a chance to get the stream VODs from the Under the Stars Build Challenge streams up on YouTube. So in case anybody wants to go see those and is not already aware that they're up on YouTube, they are. And hopefully you guys also didn't demolish your apartments yet, because I do apologize. I still have not had a chance to properly film a clean run through of all of the builds. So I know some people may have already torn theirs down, and well, I don't know. I guess I don't know what to say. I probably won't be able to, include those properly then. But if you haven't, I'm gonna still try to go through and film a compilation video where I showcase all of those builds and talk about them a bit more. But you can already rewatch the stream VODs and you can share it with your friends, since I know several people weren't able to make it on the tour or had to leave early. So check out my YouTube channel if you want to see those. And yeah. Discord, and if you want, sorry, let me restart that sentence. And the best way though to keep in contact and know about all the upcoming events and stuff happening this week, as well as in the future, would be to join my Discord. And that's linked here. You're more than welcome to come join, and you can literally just opt into notifications if you'd like them, or see the announcements channels. You don't even have to sign up for the community, but I would encourage you to sign up for the community if you're liking what you see and you're liking the people here, because then you can come and chat with us and nerd out about housing and nightlife and all that stuff. This week is a Prominence week, so this Wednesday, that'll be the next time I'm streaming. This Wednesday, I'll see you all hopefully at Prominence, 7 to 10 p.m. PST, my nightclub. Hopefully, yeah, many of you can come out. Then I even have Prominence Garden Party this Sunday, as well as the Whale Crew FC's Halloween party at a new place that they are building in their FC house. And this Thursday, for those of you who want to just see where I'm at with this whole build, this Thursday I'll be streaming again housing, and I'll show you wherever I'm at, which will probably be quite different from what you're seeing right now. I know I've said that before about this stuff, but now that I actually have, I think what is my probably final direction or close to it, you'll see a bit more of that come to life. So, yeah. Thank you everybody so much for coming to the stream today. I sincerely apologize for all of the weirdness with the network and whatever the hell all that stuff was. I don't know what was happening there, and I know that really was very disruptive and really derailed basically in multiple times what we were talking about, and the momentum and stuff. But I still hope that many of you found the stream interesting and got a lot out of it, got some ideas. I know I didn't really build per se a lot, but like I think that's, again, you can arguably piece together what I did build wise later once you see me actually build stuff out, even if it's off stream. But I think what you don't get is a lot of the context of why I'm doing what I'm doing, or the thinking through a lot of it. And so much of it is me thinking through stuff that doesn't look like building, but it's like trying things in my head or putting down a piece, even just a little piece of architecture or something, you know, just being like, how big is one of these things, right? Like, how big is this? You know, okay, how does this fit like this? You know, how could this, or okay, how does this, right? Like, how much do I need to hide before it looks like this or that, right? So yeah. It lagged right as I was apologizing for the earlier lag. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Yeah. I see it dropping. Oh my god. It was doing so well, too. It was doing so well. Hello, Marco. Can anybody hear me? Damn it! I thought it was gonna let me wrap it up. My god. Hello? Hello? I feel like you're gonna all hear this way later. Arguably, I see people saying polo.